This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Well, Election Day has come and gone, but the ballots are still being counted from the governor's race to key House races. We have the latest results so you can stay informed.
Plus, the latest on the delays in Clackamas County. Printing issues there mean ballots are taking a long time to process, so we're going to fill you in on which races are impacted the most by the slow count.
Also coming up, almost 500 fire crews are getting ready for wildfire season in Oregon. They're preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. We'll check in on their training in about 15 minutes right here on Sunrise. You don't have to wait that long.
Well, we will be here for 2 hours. That is a fact. There is a lot going on. Of course, election results top of mind. We're also going to remember what happened on this day 42 years ago, the eruption of Mount St. Helens. So we'll take a look back at that. But before we get to any of that, Rodney Hill, today's forecast.
It's raining. We had 2 days of dry weather.
Yeah, we did. No complaints.
That's crazy. Here's a look at the radar this morning. We have what is steady light rain picking up across the area right now, mostly light stuff. You see from the coast, there's Mount Hood. So wherever you go, you're going to start to find some raindrops. The low cloud deck over the city, raining now out of PDX. 52 is the early morning number. There are some noticeable breezes out there as well. So here's your bus stop weather. We'll go about 50 out the door. It will be raining. Now this rain breaks up no later than 10 this morning. So noontime recess could be dry, but there will be a shower chance. 55. We'll open up some sun breaks. About 62 later today. There's a shower chance, but again, it could be dry in your neighborhood, and that's your forecast.
All right, more from Rod coming up in a few minutes, but right now we want to jump back into the primary results, and we start with the race for Oregon governor. On the Democratic side, former House Speaker Tina Kotek is the projected winner. That means she will advance to the general election come November. How about the Republican side? Well, so far, no winner projected officially yet. Former House Minority Leader Christine Drazan, though, does lead that crowded race. So we're going to talk about both sides, but we're going to go back to the Democratic side for starters because we were there last night for Tina Kotek's victory speech. This November, voters will have to decide between Kotek, the Republican candidate, and independent Betsy Johnson.
People need to understand there are two conservatives going to be running against me in November. And they want to take our state backwards. I want to move us forward. That's what these results mean tonight. I have a lot of Oregonians supporting that vision. Everyone who voted for me supported me. I really appreciate it. And I know that everybody working together, we're going to win in November.
All right, there's Tina Kotek talking about moving on to the general election in November. Meanwhile, Christine Drazan, as we mentioned, leading the race right now on the Republican side. That race is still too close to call, but in a speech last night, Drazan said she's ready for whatever comes next.
The Oregon we know, the Oregon we love is hurting. Too many of our neighbors are living on the streets, our schools are failing our kids, and our families are feeling the pinch of high taxes and record inflation. Our communities have been left behind, and our urban communities are struggling to stop a violent crime wave that is robbing Oregonians of safety in their own streets and neighborhoods. It's time to lead our state in a new direction.
The results in that race could change depending on what happens in Clackamas County. Ballot issues there are delaying results big time this morning. We're still waiting for the latest numbers. Devin Haskins joins us live outside Clackamas election headquarters. Devin, Oregon Secretary of State is even weighing in on all of this.
Yeah, even criticizing the elections office here in Clackamas County. She says the state has offered the Clackamas County elections office here resources to help in those counting of the ballots. She also criticized them, saying, quote, I am disappointed that we have not seen more urgency from the elections officials in Clackamas County. Now, when polls closed here in Clackamas County yesterday at 8 p.m., the county reported just over 10,000 votes being counted. And the reason that they're so low is a printing error with a barcode on 2/3 of the ballots. The county actually has over 300,000 registered voters. A two-person bipartisan team will take each faulty ballot and duplicate them and then count those by hand. This delay will also play a part in candidates wanting to know what's happening, especially in some key races. So for instance, in the race for the U.S. Congressional 5th District, Democrat and incumbent Kurt Schrader is currently losing in that race statewide. But here in Clackamas County, only 1,309 votes have been counted. Republican gubernatorial candidate Christine Drazan has a lead among Republicans, but would like to know exactly what's happening. And without those votes from Clackamas County, she and all the other candidates are left waiting. Yesterday, Clackamas County Clerk Sherry Hall said they had no idea how long it'll take to count all these ballots. We're still working on staffing.
We're thinking we might have 2 shifts per day of 5-hour shifts, and for sure Monday through Friday. We're not sure about the weekends yet. And our top priority is to get this election done very accurately and on time. And accuracy is way more important than speed.
One date Hall said for sure is that the county will certify these votes on June 13th. She also said volunteers will be back here counting all those ballots starting at 8 a.m. Back to you guys.
Devin, thank you. For a look at the latest results from Oregon's primary and a peek ahead at what comes next, go to our website, kgw.com.
All right, we want to get to some of this morning's other headlines, and we start in Clark County because the Clark County Sheriff's Office says it has a juvenile in custody after a deadly shooting that happened on Monday night. So sometime after 11 p.m. on Monday, deputies found a man dead behind the wheel of a crashed car near Northeast 131st Avenue and 4th Plain Boulevard. Investigators believe he was shot at a nearby mobile home park called the Golden West Mobile Manor. They say the suspect was also shot in the arm, and they're calling this shooting a dispute between rival gangs. Also this morning, a former freelance journalist appeared in court yesterday charged with vandalizing houses of worship and black-owned restaurant. Michael Bivens pleaded not guilty to charges including arson and criminal mischief. Over the course of 5 days from late April through early May, he's accused of vandalizing 2 synagogues, a Muslim community center, and Everybody Eats PDX. Meanwhile, the trial of Nancy Crampton Brophy could soon be over. She's the romance novelist, of course, who's accused of killing her husband, Dan Brophy, a chef instructor at the Oregon Culinary Institute. On Tuesday, Brophy took the stand again for the second day, facing cross-examination from the prosecution. Brian Clerkley has the latest.
I'm reconstructing this, but I'm reconstructing this based upon what I know in my heart. And what I know in my heart is the reason why I have no memory is because I was stunned by the fact Dan was dead. And I wouldn't have been stunned if I'd been in the building and shot him.
Nancy Crampton Brophy is on the stand recounting the morning her husband Daniel was murdered. She described a chaotic scene down at the Oregon Culinary Institute where the crime took place. Nancy did admit to being in the area of the Culinary Institute the morning of the murder. Prosecutors say her van was spotted in the area on surveillance.
I was driving around for a full hour before Dan got murdered. I was down there before Dan ever got to school. I was driving around writing for a full hour. I was only in that vicinity for 6 minutes.
The prosecution also pressed Crampton Brophy about how she knew her husband was dead when she got down to the Culinary Institute the morning of June 2nd, 2018. The state says Nancy told her mother-in-law Dan had died before police had informed her.
I had not been told, but I had not heard from him. All of his friends avoided looking at me, and the police officers knew who I was before I got there, and one police officer hugged me. This is not good news I'm going to hear.
The defense maintains the Brophies were so in love Nancy would never kill her husband. Prosecutors say the motivation for the murder was money.
There's not enough financial reason there to make it. I do better with Dan alive financially than I do with Dan dead. There's no financial gain here.
Now to Portland's homeless crisis and a progress report on the 90-day plan to clean up Old Town. That neighborhood is plagued with crime, drugs, and public camping. So earlier this month, at the urging of business leaders, the city cleaned up 2 campsites and removed 19 others. 25 more camps are scheduled to be removed, but some living on the street say they're not getting notified about these sweeps.
All my clothing, other than what's on my back, all my electronics except for what was in my backpack, all gone. That's several $100s worth of stuff.
I'm just scared for the ways in which this is just so destabilizing for people.
In the past 3 days, the city has helped 23 homeless people find shelter beds, and officials say they're making space for more. Coming up tomorrow night, we're taking a unique look at Portland's homeless crisis Our investigative team brings us the premiere of the KGW original documentary, One Day. Our team captured more than a dozen stories over a single day, showing the scope and the impact of Portland's homeless crisis. You can watch One Day Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on KGW, or stream it anytime starting Thursday on KGW's YouTube page.
Well, it was on this day, 42 years ago, May 18th, 1980, that Mount St. Helens erupted. We're going to have much more on this event coming up at 5:45 this morning, but we're asking on our Facebook page what you remember, because anyone who lived in this area at the time certainly remembers this day. They'll never forget it, as a matter of fact, and a lot of you already sharing your thoughts this morning. We start with Lisa here, who says she was 15 years old at the time. She says she watched the eruption off the deck of their home in Gresham. She says she'll never forget seeing the ash fall covering all of our cars. She described it as unbelievable. And one more comment right now from Linda. She says, I remember it very, very well. Most concerning thing to her was not knowing which way the ash was going to blow, but she remembers correctly that it did head east, right? She says, lucky for those of us here in Portland, not so lucky for the people living in the Tri-Cities. So again, you can let us know what you remember about this day 42 years ago, May 18th, 1980. The eruption of Mount St. Helens. You can actually text us if it's easier. Those comments, 503-226-5088 is our text line.
I'm telling you, I hope that we get a break in the clouds today to see Mount St. Helens. I remember back in the day when there was a peak on that thing.
Yeah, I would have loved to have gone up and seen Spirit Lake with the lodge and those photos at that time. It was just a picturesque mountain.
It really was.
Totally different landscape.
You remember the TV guide? They used to have a beautiful picture of Spirit Lake, even after it blew, and I'd be thumbing through and going, that's not there anymore.
That's changed, yeah. Here's a look at one of the headlines this morning I'm tracking. We have a wind advisory. This is up from noon until 10 p.m. today. The one in our viewing area, if you will. It includes the Dalles. It ends before you get down to Madras. It does include out through the Columbia Basin to Pilton. No big deal, but westerlies gusting to 45 miles per hour. A separate wind advisory down south of Deschutes County. All right, here we go with what's going on. We have a front moving in. That's the reason for the wind. It is breezy outside at the coast and here in the valley right now as well. This is mainly steady light rain marching through the region. Futurecast models show it getting out of here before 9 o'clock. Most of the rain, I think certainly by 10, we'll see the raindrops come to an end. And then scattered showers, but interesting to me anyways, that the models don't show that many showers the rest of today. So perhaps your afternoon plans are actually pretty dry with some sun breaks opening up. Now what happens tomorrow is the trailing cold upper level low drops down. Snow levels start off at 7,000 today. By tomorrow they're down to 3,000 feet. And that colder air, this is tomorrow morning at 7:30, will eventually fuel some heavy scattered downpours and some small hail. That would be a hail shower right there at noon with scattered showers picking up across the area. So that's coming up tomorrow. Here are the early morning numbers with the light rain falling. 40s at the coast, 52 in Portland, 48 in Kelso. We do have cloud cover marching across much of the state with temps in the 40s and some 30s out across eastern Oregon. Only around 60 today for a high. Those winds in the valley southwest to west 10 to 20 with some occasional gusts that could get up to about 30 miles per hour. Similar numbers up through southwest Washington. 62 in Portland, only 50s tomorrow. There's that dry weather though. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A shower chance on Monday. Not sure, but we'll see a chance. I do like our shower chances on Tuesday of next week. That's your forecast, Brenda.
Rob, thank you. Coming up this morning, a behind-the-scenes look at how local firefighters are preparing for wildfire season. What they're doing right now to keep you safe this summer.